You get this look.
State your name and profession.
Kevin Lawless. I am an attorney, been practicing for about 22 years. I'm also a real estate agent, which I've been doing for about 30 years.
Wonderful. So tell me, what did you like best about Send Later as a product?
As a product, experiencing it during the workshop, the presentation this evening, I see the business potential. Looking at it as a real estate agent, being able to maintain contact with my client base, plan out, email blast, or to plan out just periodic contact with the clients is very important. Being able to include and embed, information, videos, and you try to give them something of value. So whether it's information or a gift, that's something that's very important. So I see tremendous potential for it in its business application.
So you already touched on this, but who do you see yourself sending gifts to?
Well, I wouldn't, discount the social, familial aspect of it, being able to send, greetings to family members and gifts to them, and to be able to do that with my client base would be very important, whether it's law or real estate, and to send items of value. Now, those could be just periodicals, or could be a gift certificate to a new restaurant that, maybe I go down and I talk to them, look, if I buy 10 gift certificates, would you give me some discount on that? And then send those out, or even, promote, an open house, or promote certain events or presentations, and say, at this presentation, this will be the following gift that will be offered. So I see it very useful in that respect, but, certainly family members as well.
So in the context you're speaking about, do you see it more useful to send it later or send it instantly or in real time?
No, to plan out distributions, and that's the nice attractive part of this program, is to be able to schedule future events, future mailings, future contact, whether it's every 3 months or whether it has to do with a particular event that's happening, open house schedules, or anniversaries of certain dates. You can plan it out, you can input it, and you can spend and concentrate your time doing that, and then forget about it. And just knowing it's going to be taken care of, and go off and do other business. So I like that aspect a lot. So you don't always have to be a slave to doing everything on a particular weekend or night or whatever.
Right.
So.
What type of gifts do you see yourself sending?
Well, for family members, I would see flowers or gift certificates for restaurants, or birthdays, I would see gift certificates for Amazon or stores, boutiques, things that J. Crew, or happens to be my favorite store. Things like that I would see doing that for family members. For clients, it might be a bottle of champagne if they just purchased a house or on the anniversary. It could be a gift certificate to a restaurant. So I think I had to give that more thought about what the gifts would be, but I think as the application evolves, and you start using it more, you might want to, when business comes back to you, that's the whole idea, is to bring business back to you, that you might start investing more in terms of the product you give out to people. So.
And what did you like best about the presentation that you saw tonight?
Well, until, you sit down and you see a full presentation, you can't realize its full application. You can't realize its full potential. So seeing it and hearing other comments, and I think in a group, kind of stimulate your own thought about how it could be used. So I thought that was useful, having it be an interactive experience with the group, because it gives you more ideas about how you could use it. So that was valuable, learning more about it, and seeing its potential more than its limitation. So.
Perfect, thank you. Start by saying what you do for your profession.
I work for a nonprofit.
Perfect. And so tonight you saw the launch of, or the prototype of Send Later. Can you tell me what you liked best about that service and product?
What was interesting to me is what you talked to us about beforehand was sending messages to loved ones after death, or using it in a way that might not be as practical for me, but the way you presented it, it opened up a whole different area of usage that I hadn't even thought of. Or not organizing calendars for family and friends, making sure I don't forget birthdays. Acknowledging special events that I know are coming up. I thought using it in a personal way, like a calendar, like, you know, making sure you don't forget things would be very, very useful. And I also thought from a business standpoint, it would be very useful for a nonprofit to acknowledge donors, acknowledge their birthdays, acknowledge special events with them that have happened. I just saw a whole new avenue of ways to use it.
Perfect. So you touched on this a little bit, but who do you see yourself sending gifts to?
Family, friends, primarily family and friends, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And what type of, if at all, what type of gifts would you like to be able to send to them, do you think?
I usually like to send, I usually send edible arrangements if somebody has a wedding or a funeral or, you know, something like that. Mm-hmm. Certainly birthdays, chocolate-covered strawberries, or something along. Usually a food type of thing is what I tend to send, or cash.
Perfect. And what type of messages, you touched on it, but birthdays, funerals, what other type of events would you use Send Later for?
I think I would use them more for future acknowledgments of concrete dates. I don't know that I'd use it to send messages to people in the future or something like that, unless it was a specific application, like a birthday or an anniversary or something like that.
Perfect. And what did you like best about the presentation tonight?
I thought you presented yourself knowing the product. You were able to answer any questions anybody posed to you. You obviously are very, very well learned in all aspects of the product. And I was very impressed with that.
Thank you. Perfect. Well, I'm glad you came.
Oh, I'm recording.
You can pause it.
I'm just going to let her chew.
About 10 more chews.
So do you have the blooper reel?
Yes.
Oh, puppy.
He's very sweet.
Perfect.
Do I have anything in my teeth?
You're good.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to state your name and your profession.
My name is Kim Schwartz, and I'm a yoga instructor.
Perfect. So you saw a lot about Send Later today.
I did.
What do you think was the best part of the product that you saw today?
I think the potential is amazing. It has the capability of doing what the pilot is suggesting, whether it's sending something later to a terminally ill, you know, through a terminally ill relationship, or from the military. But the potential for a business application or a charitable application is there too.
Well, I don't know if you guys are in. So what type of messages do you see yourself sending with this service?
I would definitely send birthday messages, get well, terminally ill support, apartment or dorm care packages, gifts of the day, just, you know, or a recognition of anniversaries, not just a wedding anniversary, but you've lived in this house, you know, for a year, or you did this milestone at work, or something like that.
Perfect. And who, you touched on this a little bit, but who do you see yourself sending those gifts to?
Really, any age group, if you're thinking of a demographic, from the college scene all the way up to, I mean, my parents are late 80s, and I would acknowledge their anniversaries or gifts of the day for them.
So what other applications do you think that Send Later could have? Or what other ways could we improve Send Later?
Probably the charitable giving, if that's not already included. Maybe specific milestones, meaning we talked earlier about if, let's say, you do for a business application. Let's say you have a realtor who wants to acknowledge a client's first year anniversary in their home. Maybe that includes a little gift, which is also a print of that house. So having a relationship with somebody, some little artist, or maybe there's a way to photo the apartment or the condo or the house and have that turned into a picture and framed and a little gift, something like that.
Perfect. And then what did you like best about the presentation you saw tonight?
First of all, I thought you did an amazing job. There's a ton of information. A ton of questions that we asked about how this could work, or have you thought of this? I think the potential for syncing up with various companies, vendors, is great, and I think it's a very broad opportunity. It really has a ton of potential. I use that word a ton, but you know, it really has just some great perks about it for lots of different applications, I guess.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Jocelyn.
And I'm rolling.
Can we? Are you kidding me?
No?
Okay. Hi.
Hi. Can you please state your name, age, and occupation?
I know you're laughing because Judy Lawless, and I'm 57. And stop it!
Oh my gosh. Your name and occupation, please. This isn't a hard question.
Stop. Hi, my name is Judy Lawless.
I'm not with face.
How do you do this after you have two glasses?
Oh, I am.
Okay. My name is Judy Lawless, and I am self-employed, 57 years old, and I have a catering food business, and I also have a horse farm.
Perfect. So you saw Send Later tonight. What did you like best about the product that you saw?
I love the idea of being able to organize in one afternoon gifting and thoughtful contributions to different people for the next year. I love the idea of doing it in one day as opposed to checking the calendar, perhaps realizing I missed something or whatever. So I love the idea of doing it in advance. It's very good.
And who do you see yourself sending messages to?
I would love to do, I think the idea of gifting in general is great. Christmas would be wonderful to get that covered, so that would incorporate everybody from, you know, siblings, children, spouse, parents, etc. And I think, so the whole, I don't think I would specify one group more than the other because equally important.
What type of messages would you see yourself sending? Are they video messages? Are they gifts? What's important for you to be able to send?
I like the idea of regular messages. I think that's great. Videos, I'm not so sure that I would do. Gifts, I would absolutely want to send out. I use social media some, but not a lot. So if it's laborious, if the process is not easy and simple, then because it seems like I never have enough time, I would probably go for the simpler. Whereas other people, younger people, or people that are more astute than I am, would probably pick some of the other venues. I'd probably go simple.
Perfect. What type of gifts would you like to see Sunlighter offer?
Gift cards for sure, because particularly when you're talking about younger generations, they're more interested. I mean, it's hard to pick the greatest gift you could ever find, so I think when you pick a gift card, it's a win-win situation. I do like the idea of edible arrangements. I think that's a wonderful gift from from all occasions, from sympathy to graduation to birthdays to anything. So I think that's a great idea.
You can actually, through the process of stretching.
And of course, if Amazon is there,
That's really
you have anything you could ever want and then some.
So what did you like best about the presentation you saw tonight?
Just the idea is very novel. And as we're all talking throughout the presentation and asking questions and whatnot, there's so many more applications. I think it applies to so many venues for somebody who is maybe trying to send messages if they're not well and they're trying to send messages into the future, from business people who are looking to send something regularly to clients, and then of course the average birthdays, anniversaries, that sort of thing as well. So there's a lot of ways it can be used, and it's exciting. A lot of interesting possibilities for sure.
Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'll be looking forward to seeing what happens and how it gets developed in the future.
just by
Thank you.
staying out,
Thank you.
it separates and
Thank you, Mom.